those students, the average C student that somebody probably passed over a few times and didn't give enough attention to and focus on. We get to hear her perspective and her contribution to our movement. Let's please welcome Felecia Hatcher.
How's it going, guys? Well, I think you can do a little bit better than that. How's it going? Thank you guys so much for having me here. You all look amazing and beautiful. According to my high school guidance counselor, guys, I'm not supposed to be here with you today in this room. According to this same high school guidance counselor, I was never supposed to go to college. According to this high school guidance counselor, I was never supposed to become the author of 2 books, or honored at the White House as being one of the top 100 entrepreneurs under the age of 30. According to this high school guidance counselor, I wasn't supposed to build a company that makes me smile and people smile every single day. According to this high school guidance counselor, I'm not supposed to be here. See, if you could major or minor in anything in high school, I majored and minored in the 2 Bs. Anyone want to take a guess? Boys, yes.
Basketball.
And basketball. As a 14-year-old girl, I had my priorities, right? So majoring in boys and basketball, that left very little time for what? Books. So by the end of my freshman year of high school, my GPA had dropped down to a 2.1. That's ugly, right? You're not supposed to go to college with that, right? You may not even supposed to go to graduate high school with that. That's the GPA that gets you into dropout prevention classes, a 2.1. Fast forward to my senior year, I go to meet with my guidance counselor. And I tell her my hopes and dreams. Hey, I want to go to the University of Central Florida. I want to major in TV production. Please guide me on my yellow brick road to success. So she looks at me. She looks at her computer screen. She looks back at me. She looks back at the computer screen. And she said, Felecia, you will never make it to college or a university. The best you can get is go into a vocational school or go ahead and get a part-time job, but you will never make it to college. I was devastated. I didn't feel like I was a walking GPA. I felt like I could start over in college. I had a few bumps in the road. Raise your hand if anyone has ever told you that you couldn't achieve something that deep down in your heart you knew that you could. Raise your hand. And keep your hands up if you've used their words as motivation to prove them wrong. And keep your hands up if you dedicated your book to that person. I guess I'm the only one that did that. But guys, I started to learn. I knew that I had to go to college. I knew that I wanted to go to college. And I knew that I had to figure out how to pay for it. Because my mom told my brother and I, you either go into college or you go into the military. But you got to end up at college, you got to figure out a way to pay for it. So I had this guidance counselor on one hand, I had my mom on the other. And so I go to the career office. And they put out scholarships, they called it Scholarship Wednesday, it was nothing fancy. And I would just go there. And I was getting ready to leave the room one day, and the career counselor said to me, Felecia, at one point I was in your shoes. Look at the table with a different pair of eyes, because there's some opportunities there for you that you qualify for even with a low GPA. started taking everything, applying for every single thing that came across. I started learning patterns. I started figuring out how to create my own opportunities. I was determined to prove this person wrong because I wasn't going to let someone define my life at 17. Fast forward to senior awards night. I'm getting a little worried because they're calling everyone's name, the National Honor Society students. I'm like, if they don't call my name today, I got to go to the Marine's office tomorrow. And they call my name. And 3 women get up on that stage. And they're holding one of those, you know, those big checks, the Ed McMahon checks. They look really cool, but you can't actually take them to the bank. And as I start to walk down the stairs and up to the stage, I see that that check says $100,000 on it. I ended up winning a total of $120,000 in scholarships and grants as a C student. And remember I said there were 3 women on that stage, right? So 2 were from the organization. That other lady, you guys know who that was? That guidance counselor, right? I kind of want to kick her off the stage a little bit. You know, like, I'm going to be professional. I don't want any teachers in here trying to beat me up on stage. But guys, after that, I went from being called a C student to being called a genius. And at 18 was the first time someone called me a genius. And I didn't know how to accept that. I didn't know how to own that. Because I had never been called that before. And I didn't know what had happened that someone could look at me as not being able to do anything and all of a sudden being called a genius. I thought there were tests you had to take, classes that you had to go to. But someone called me a genius. And Albert Einstein once said, everybody is a genius. But if we judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life thinking that it's stupid. But what if I called you dumb? Right? Or you stupid? Would you ingest that? Most of us do. We can easily own that, right? We wear it as armor. We tell our friends. We tweet about it. Somebody just called me dumb. I don't know what I'm going to do. And we wear it like armor. We take that message viral. But what if I called you a genius today? Would you believe it? Would you own it? Most of us don't. Most of our kids don't. We usually don't take those messages viral because we don't know what they look like. You guys agree with that? Most of our kids don't know that each and every one of them has the potential to do something great. The potential to turn their passion into profit, like I was able to. Most of our classrooms don't teach kids to do something amazing with their passion. If they were like me, which a lot of kids are, they feel like they are that round peg trying to get into a square hole. They don't know what to do. And it's up to each and every one of us to unleash that genius. Can you guys agree with me? Unleash that genius in every single one of our kids. And maybe we should change what the word GPA, what it stands for. Instead of grade point average, maybe it should stand for Genius Protection Association. How about that? Right? Because it's each and every one of our responsibilities, not only as you as teachers, but myself and my husband who own a business in the community to protect the genius that is in each and every one of our kids. Right? Not only to foster it, but protect it. Each and every one of you as teachers, you're geniuses. Right? Where's the Nobel Prize, right? That's what you're probably saying. Each and every one of you have every single thing that you need to build amazing kids and build amazing communities. And most of what we need is in something like this, right? Or our computers. Technology can do amazing things for our community. It can do amazing things for our kids. You know, the digital divide, which was such a big problem 15, 10, even 5 years ago, It really doesn't exist anymore. Right? Our kids have access to technology like never before. Like never before. We're no longer, we're consumers of technology, so we have access to it. Now we need to figure out how to shift our kids to become creators of technology. You guys remember Oprah 30 years ago with the fro? When she was just starting out? Oprah, Richard Branson, Bill Gates, 30 years ago. 30 years ago when Oprah had the fro, Twitter didn't exist yet. Or Facebook didn't exist yet. Twitter was just the sound. Right? Apple was what? Something that we ate. 4G was a parking space. LinkedIn was a prison. And the cloud was in the sky. Right? So if she was able to accomplish those things without every single thing that we have available to us today, why can't we? Why can't our kids? Why can't we stop with the excuses today? Each and every one of you guys has amazing capabilities to do whatever you want to do to change not only this community or this world or just Miami. But it's up to each and every one of you and us too to work together to unleash the genius in each and every one of our kids. Thank you guys.
All right, so we've had a great time tonight to really hear different perspectives on all kinds of things. Like we've really, I think if I kind of step back for a moment, we've seen a lot of the contours and kind of the directions of the movement in Miami. From students, entrepreneurs, people in the community that talk to strangers, people that sell